Well, it happened. Um, that was it was a rough game. It's a game that the Kraken probably should have won, all things considered, just because I think they outplayed the Canucks, right? I mean, they outshot them almost 2-1. But the Canucks got lucky. Bottom line, couple of their goals, right? You get a nice deflection here, nice batted in puck over there. It's just the way that it goes sometimes. I still think that there were positive takeaways from this for the Kraken. It's not like they got blown out or anything. Canucks had to win at some point. Like it's one of those things. I know it doesn't help with the pain, but you know, it's where we're at. Barbara, oh no, I had such high hopes. I know, rough way to start the morning for you, I'm sure. Kraken Hawk, the Kraken got more shots and control the offensive zone in most games. They still just can't finish. Tonight, the Vancouver power play just killed us. They had this game and they let it go. Frick. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly aspects of it. Canucks go 2 for 2 on the power play. On the plus side, we only gave them 2 power play chances, so that is technically improvement for the Kraken. Kraken power play finally getting one late there. But there's other things, right? Like again, you're sub 50% on the faceoff dot. That's something that needs to get worked on and changed. You outshot them. I thought the offense did a fantastic job of driving possession. You know what I mean? Like Jordan Eberle, as well, just continues to be unlucky. Oliver Bjorkstrand, I think we can start putting in that same category of generating just tons of chances, but not being able to get anything to stick. I feel like that's how a lot of the offense went for this one. Was they got tons of good looks, and the bottom line was that things kind of fall apart for the Kraken in their own zone. There's kind of no way around that. Vancouver got lucky on a couple goals, took advantage of some sloppy defense for the rest, and next thing you know, you lose by one. But again, this wasn't the worst loss we've seen from the Kraken so far this season, as far as them just like blowing a game. Got a couple more. Yikes, pathetic. Walt, what utter BS? Literally knew we would be the team to give the Canucks their first win. I know. Well, maybe everybody was saying that. Maybe we accidentally spoke it into existence. I don't know. It's possible. Canucks finally won one, barely. I mean, yeah, it was barely. That was dumb and I hated it. I feel that stressful, embarrassing, just disappointing. Tired of the team letting these types of games go. I know, but like there's still improvement here. Like there are still things. You were closer to 50% in the faceoff dot. You were more disciplined when it came to taking penalties, especially in a game where it was clear Vancouver's kind of goal was to get the Kraken, unhinged a little early. I think with those early fights and stuff, they're trying to, get something going as a winless team in their situation should, right? They should be trying to get things physical. They should be trying to get, the other team to make stupid plays and take stupid penalties. And the Kraken did a really good job at the beginning of not falling for that. So credit there. It's just this defense has to be better. Defense and goaltending just have to be better. Joey, I knew that we would give the Canucks their first win. 0-5. Can't beat the Canucks. Very frustrating. Yeah, at some point we got to beat the Canucks. It's getting a little ridiculous. Walt, our PK was garbage as well. What another joke. Yeah, they're just not really playing cohesively, not playing like a unit or a squad in this one. I didn't feel like I just did that PK video explaining what the Kraken do on the PK, and I felt like there was none of that hustle and tenacity that we've seen from them this year tonight. Like it just wasn't there. They were always just kind of chasing the puck. They were never anticipating where it was going. There wasn't a lot of teamwork going on the PK where guys were stepping in and filling up the gaps as other people left them. It just looked like there wasn't a lot of cohesion or communication out there for the PK. So that's a little worrying, but hopefully it's just like a one game thing. Some more, comments about how disappointing this is. Cameron, someone saved me from this torment. Look, it's one game. We lost by 1 goal. It's not quite that bad. Kraken Hawk, this was the first Kraken game that gave me a heightened level of anxiety. I wanted them to win this game so friggin' bad. But no, we decided to let the winless Canucks get us. Sorry, I'm pretty upset. Now, this is kind of similar to the Chicago game. There's kind of 2 ways we could think about this, both revolving around that idea of the Kraken letting this one go. You can think about it as like, dang, we let this one go. We let them beat us. We beat ourselves, all that kind of stuff. Or we could think of it as the Kraken are basically controlling every game they play in, and the games in which they beat themselves, they lose. And that's still, a pretty good place to be in, because that's a much more fixable problem than the problems that the Kraken had last year, where they just couldn't score a goal to save their life, and they couldn't get a save to save their life. And you know what I mean? Like, the team was just bad. Like, now the team isn't bad. It's just that they're making mistakes that are costly, and they need to tighten things up and kind of work with themselves a little bit more. So it's still an improvement from last year. I'm trying to stay positive. I don't know. Ty, don't shoot. If you don't shoot, you can't score. Sick of this. Face-offs are a joke too. Ticket prices taking a dive works for me. Yeah, I saw some of the ticket stuff on Twitter, people talking about it, and on the Discord. Um, yeah, it's the face-offs are a real problem. I feel like they have done a better job of shooting in certain situations. There was some, like Daniel Sprong on that one play. I think it might have been the first period where he just held on to it forever. Got to shoot that one. But I think the face-offs is really where they need to focus on things, because that's the only thing that's kind of keeping this offense back, right? Like, how many defensive zone draws was somebody like Bo Horvat able to come in and just win for the Canucks, and win them clean, like just straight up win these faceoffs, not creating any chaos in the defensive zone for the Canucks, like just take them clean against anybody that the Kraken threw out there. If the Kraken could start winning those faceoffs clean, or at least just tying the guy up and kind of creating a little bit of chaos, give yourself a more 50-50 chance at it. I think that they can start, the offense can kind of, get going a little bit more, certainly in key situations, because that's what's hurting them so much right now. Welcome everybody to Post Game Live. Lots of people have been trickling in. Just want to say hi. Post Game Live, as always, presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. Big shout out to them. Feels hard to celebrate wins when we can't seem to string them together. I definitely agree with that one, Gabe. That's a very good point there. Hated the way the Canucks were just dumping the puck. They were hanging on for dear life. They were, Cody. And again, that's a positive takeaway we should have, is that this was a game where the Canucks got lucky, right? Like, at some point playing hockey, they had to win a game, and it just so happened it was this one. I think everything went right for them. There's only so much you can, do in that situation. Brian, that's how it goes, but a PK kill now and again would have been nice to see. I know, but again, it was only two. Like, they killed you on both power plays, but it was only two power plays. That's good. Gary, the strong physical pressure from Vancouver kept them in this one until the end. Yeah, I mean, Vancouver did what you had to do when you're a winless team. You go out there, you grind it out, you try to get the other team to take penalties. The Kraken were smarter than that. They didn't stoop to that level, because that could have really gotten this game off the rails early. So credit again to the Kraken discipline for kind of keeping their head on for that. But yeah, I mean, that's just how you have to play, and you got to count on getting lucky. Vancouver got lucky tonight. We all love the Kraken. We have bad goaltending, not good defense, and average offense. We do have good energy, but 70 points may be a stretch. I don't know. I think they could get to 70 points. I think they're going to be a halfway decent team. And I think that's, you just fix up some of the problems on defensively, the lack of communication that's going on there, the lack of cohesion there, and on the PK, I think things are workable. It's a good game, bad game, good game, bad game, back and forth. Just can't get it together. Well, and we could basically just say that about the games individually as we watch them, and really just looking at the schedule, right? Just going back at the schedule, it's win, loss, win, loss, win, right? Like, we just can't get anything going one way or the other. I mean, thankfully, we're not having those massive losing streaks like last year, but yeah, it would be nice to get a couple wins back to back. I can't keep watching this team. They are so wildly inconsistent, so frustrating. Again, it's better than being consistently bad, which we were last year. So it's a step in the right direction. I know it's not fun, but it's a step in the right direction. Wenberg's terrible in the circle. Why is he still out as 1C? I think Maddie's still 1C. Maddie getting 16 something. I guess Wenberg got more ice time tonight, but Wenberg at 50% in the faceoff circle tonight. Maddie 53% in the circle. It's Yanni Gord at 33% and Morgan Geekie at 25%. And if we remember, we talked about Morgan Geekie last game. He was at 11%. So, he more than doubled, but still, you're only winning 1 in 4 draws. That's not good. So it's actually not Wenberg and Maddie keeping this team down right now. It's Yanni Gordon and Morgan Geeky. It's the fourth C spot and the third C spot that's really doing it for them. PK has been suboptimal to start the year. Any clue where it's ranked league wide? That I can definitely pull up for us. They weren't that bad though, just a little while ago. Let's see. Got uh, that's just goals for and goals against. Where are we? I don't think this counts for this game, but yes, I mean, uh, Kraken PK has been at 69%, basically. League average is 80%. It's not giving me like exactly where that ranks, but that's, significantly below average. So we know they're definitely in the bottom half of the league. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Kraken strike again. The early fights were a good play by Vancouver. They were a good play, especially that JT Miller one to get another defenseman off the ice and Carson Soucy. That was one that Carson Soucy maybe doesn't need to take. But it is what it is. A lot of positives. They played the whole 60. I can live with the loss, but we have stuff to work on. Credit to Demko too. That's from Tammy. Yeah, I mean Demko kind of got Vancouver into trouble and kind of got him out of it a little bit, right? Like he was like those were some crazy leaky goals he was allowing there at the end. I mean, at the beginning that were just horrible. But yeah, I mean, he made some clutch saves later on. I still don't think he looked nearly as good as he did last year. Joey, I think Demko was on purpose pushing the goal off. I don't know that he was on purpose doing that. I don't know. I see Walt agreeing with you, but it is odd that it kept happening. But given how long the guys were working on the ice crew was working on the ice consistently there. I think that kind of tells me that it was probably actually an ice issue. If he was really pushing it off, um, they wouldn't need to work on it that long. They wouldn't be like re-drilling the hole and everything and trying to really get it to stick in and stuff. So because they just slap it back on and everything would be good to go, right? The linesman could take care of it. So I don't know. I understand where you're coming from, and again, it kind of fits in with the narrative of like this team was trying to do everything they could just to win a game. Can the Kraken only beat the Canucks with Shane Wright in the lineup? Striatic. We don't know. Maybe next meetup, Shane Wright will be back in the lineup. I could see Shane Wright getting in the lineup after this one, though, just because, Morgan Geeky had the goal in the last game. Only time I noticed Morgan Geeky tonight was when he was in that fight. Didn't really do too much outside of that. And as we've talked about now, two brutal games when it comes to face-offs. So I think that's something to consider for Dave Hackstall and the rest of the coaching staff is getting Shane Wright back in the lineup for him. Lindsay, it sucks that we gave them their first win, but there's still a lot of good things to build on. Agreed. Very much agreed. Hey guys, at least we beat the Stanley Cup champs. That is right. Matty Beniers is such a great talent. Scored on a breakaway. Took 15 seconds after the score by the Canucks. He is an incredible player. He is, and that was something that Seattle desperately needed too, right? Just to stop the bleeding, stop the momentum that Vancouver's building, get that response goal for ourselves. We all know what those response goals can do to a team and to the energy and momentum going on in a building. And Matty Beniers just getting it done, just ruthless coming in on Demko, beating him clean. It's he was really good. Patrick, few more shots instead of passes and we would have had it. Again, I feel like they are shooting. Like I don't feel like they're really trying to dance around out there anymore. I think they are shooting a lot. Like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm trying to be too optimistic through all this. That's entirely possible. Nathan, to be honest, I'm sick of any moral victories. We should have won that game. Instead, we're Vancouver's first win. Like I said, Vancouver got bounces. We didn't get bounces. I don't know. It happens in hockey. Like it's just the way it is sometimes. But I do understand it's frustrating. It does kind of have the same feeling of the Chicago game where it's like, look, you're kind of outplaying them everywhere, and then you make a couple mistakes and it's just too much to overcome, and you beat yourself, and that does suck. I will definitely agree with that. Kraken Hawk, losses like today will make the days when we own Vegas and Vancouver much more enjoyable in the future. Still disappointed. Agreed. It's one of those, it's rough now. It'll be good later. It's all a big roller coaster we'll be on for the rest of our lives with this team, I'm sure. Michael, could be a real rough stretch of games here coming up next couple weeks. Yes, their schedule is brutal. The Seattle Kraken schedule is absolutely brutal. We'll get Pittsburgh and their high flying offense coming in on Saturday. Then got to go. Let me go to the next month here on the calendar. Then you got to go to Calgary, Minnesota. Minnesota hasn't been that great so far this year. Then go to Pittsburgh. So you got 2 games against the Penguins. Then finally come back on the 8th of November against Nashville. It's it's not going to be easy. A whole month of November for the most part is pretty difficult outside of the one game against the Sharks and the one game against Anaheim. Those might be the only kind of easy, like really easy games on your schedule for next month. Gabe, I didn't realize that having a good offense was going to expose our blue line this much. 5-4 losses are going to be hard to watch. They are. It's just totally night and day from last year, isn't it? It's kind of crazy, but yes, this team, it's not quite built to be this, all out offense, back and forth kind of game. Defense just kind of can't hang with that. And we're seeing that now pretty consistently. Like we've got a 9-game sample size now. It's a large enough sample size to say this is not working. Something needs to happen there. I'm still very much in favor of shuffling the D pairs. I really think that's something Hackstall has to look at this point, especially breaking up Alexiak and Schultz. Saw it again tonight. I know Alexiak had a goal and stuff. That's all cool, but they are so bad in their defensive zone right now and really have been all year. It's been a real struggle for them. We're going to talk about it on the deep dive coming out Monday, the kind of like advanced stats behind it, because it's brutal for that pairing. Like they need to be broken up. Sean, the Susie fight was a bad move. Agreed. It was probably a bad move. At first, it seems like it's okay because you're taking JT Miller off the ice, but the fact that you already were down Larson, it wasn't great. Lindsay, this one's on me, fam. Sorry, I wasn't in the building tonight. Otherwise, it would have been a Kraken win. That is very true. So next Vancouver game, Lindsay, you have to be in the building. Declaring it now. You just have to. Gordy, Canucks haven't lost in Seattle since December 28th, 1969, in a loss against the Totems. That's a nice fun fact there. Appreciate you bringing that in, Gordy. Very interesting. Willingly sending 2 defensemen to the box in the first 5 minutes is just dumb. Agreed, Sean. Let's see. You need to win interdivision games to compete for a playoff spot. Kraken 1-2-1 so far. Agreed. You do have to win those, but we knew this division was going to be tough. It just is. It's a strong division outside of those couple teams at the bottom there. So, I'd be more worried about this if it was, say, a loss, to San Jose, right? Like that would be like troubling, sincerely troubling. Let's see. Yes, Devin pointing out Eberle got his 600th point. That was really cool to see. Really, really happy for him. Just an amazing career for him. Just from time when he was scoring those World Junior goals all the way through. Really, really happy for him to be able to get that one. This is like the worst game to lose, lol, from Unnecessary Zippers. It was definitely brutal. You never want to be giving your Pacific Northwest rival their first win of the season, and you don't want to, kind of cost yourself the game. But it'll be all right. We'll survive. Do you think the Kraken should have resisted the urge to fight? If anything, it only helped Vancouver. Yes, I mean, I'm sure we'll probably keep getting this question, but yes, I think the Larson one made sense. He lays out the big hit. Tanner Pearson wants to defend his teammate. Larson answers the call. That's all fine. Totally fine. I think that's not a momentum killer for the Kraken. It's not like a bad energy thing. It's not going to totally fire up Vancouver. That's just hockey, right? Now, JT Miller picking a fight with Carson Soucy for nothing, just basically saying like, hey, you want to fight me? And Carson Soucy being like, sure. That's more of a problem because you're already down Larson at that point. So situationally, you don't want Soucy to take that fight. Now, maybe there's something I missed and the broadcast missed. That's entirely possible. There was something else going on there. Obviously not, on the ice, didn't hear whatever was said, but I think the Larson fight was totally fine. That's just a hockey play. He makes a big hit. Vancouver wants to stand up for their teammate. He says, "Okay, that's fair," and they go. That's all fine, but certainly can't afford to get into that second fight. And then later on, I forget who it was, but they turned down a fight as well. I think it might have been Vince Dunn. Vancouver was trying to pick a fight with him too. Like, could you imagine if we were down three defensemen? That would have been a serious problem. Um, yes, one day, Lindsay, we will go above 500. It has to happen one day. uh, let's see, Jake. The pattern holds. I work, we lose. If I'm off to watch the game, we get a point or win. All right, so we need Lindsay in the building. We need Jake off work. That's what we need to do. All right. Patrick did enjoy a $30 lower bowl seat. Yeah, I mean, ticket prices for this one were insanely low. Kind of surprised by that this early in the season. Ty, I'm back to almost numb again, ready for the rest of the season, lol. Definitely places to grow, but this team is pretty entertaining. I mean, this kind of game is way more entertaining than some of the games they were in last year. You know what I mean? Like, those games were just bad. The team was just bad. Like, this is at least exciting. We're in 5-4 games, right? Yeah, I know we've lost the last two of them, but we've been able to hang in there with some teams, and we're able to score goals and get people fired up in the building and get excited. Not have bathroom break power plays. Like, these are all things that we should be grateful for. I think after last season, if things were the same as last season, man, I would be right there with everybody. I'd be like, let's get out of here. But there is some bright side to look at. Sergeant Pickles, not gonna lie, I'm burnt out mentally. Studs, Beniers, sweet breakaways, Schwartzy, no quit, and big rig blast. I think those are good ones, Sergeant Pickles. Not gonna lie, I really like those studs there. I think those are really good ones. I don't know that I would do anything to change that, to be honest. But of course, we'll wait and get into it a little bit more when RJ joins us. Uh, Thanks for staying positive. They are better, but they need to get better at actually winning. It will get there. We're just not there yet. That's from Kraken Hawk. Agreed. Like, I know I'm probably swinging too far the other way. The pendulum swinging really far the other way and trying to be positive, but it's you know yes, they need to win more games. They need to be able to exist above 500. Like, these are just things that they have to do at some point, that they can't seem to quite figure out yet. But again, game 9 of 82. There's plenty of time. In a couple weeks, we might be, in a completely different situation, talking about different stuff. So just need to wait and see. Let's see. Duds in Michael Jordan voice. F them Canucks. Definitely agree with that, Sergeant Pickles. Joey, our defense was weak. Agreed. The defense was not good again. Again, like, something needs to change there. Offense scoring goals is fun to see, but I didn't realize how it was going. Okay, I got that one earlier. Did Hack try to call 2 timeouts, or what was that pause there at the end where the refs came over and talked to the bench? I don't know what that was either, Lindsay. That's what the broadcast was speculating. Um, I don't know that anything actually got called there. From Wendy, they're playing well enough that we will have a chance to win every game they play. Way better watching experience than last year. Ty agreeing with that. Agreed. Like, just the fact that we're in it, we can get excited about things. These were foreign concepts to us last year for the most part. So definitely happy about that. Ferris gave Arizona their first win last year. Canucks this year. Yearly coincidence or yearly occurrence? Yeah, no, I twice is coincidence. I guess if next year whatever team is struggling to get their first win, we give it to them, we could definitely say there's a strong pattern forming there. Um, Brian, true, only 2 PK opportunities, and that's better discipline. Being 31st in PK, 0-2 tonight, that and faceoffs obviously work to do. Agreed. There is stuff that needs to be fixed. They need to get in there. They need to fix the faceoff problem for sure. They need to do something on defense to at least break up that one pairing. Like I said, there is definite work to do. But yeah, it's just the way it's going right now for this team. Let's see. Dylan JBC Omega, disastrous ending. Sick of losing to Vancouver. I know it's brutal having to lose to your regional rival over and over and over again. Still waiting on that first win against them. It will come though. I'm going to guarantee it this year. We're going to beat them later this year. Just you wait and see. All right, so RJ's ready. Going to go ahead and swap over and get him in here. We'll be right back, everybody, on ECH Post Game Live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. All right, here we are back with RJ. RJ, that was a rough one. Didn't want it to happen. It was the thing that we were all afraid of, but we end up being the team that gives the Canucks their first win.
Yeah, I mentioned on the last post game I was worried about this one, and it kind of went pretty much as expected. In the scenario I was worried about, I just a kind of a tough game all around. The Kraken had opportunities. It was a very winnable game. I mean, they didn't come out and just blow it, but missed opportunities were the key, and that was kind of the talk in the post game media availability. Not a whole lot from the players. I mean, it was really short, by the way. I probably could have joined you 10 minutes earlier had I not stayed for Bruce Boudreau's availability, because I thought that was interesting and worth listening to.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, it was very short, not a whole lot there. It felt like not a whole lot as far as just questions that we could really ask. I mean, kind of basically what went wrong. I mean, Hackstall started out by saying that he felt like the Kraken were the better team for most of the game. We lost the PK battle by 1, and that ultimately was the difference in the game. I mean, not the PK, the special teams battle, by 1. And ultimately that was the difference in the game. And of course, I think the PK was kind of the area that needed most highlighting. It's now second worst in the NHL ahead of only the Canucks, and just had a really tough game tonight. And he pointed at missed clears as the big factor on the PK. I think that's something that we kind of saw watching the game, right? And then mentioned on the second one that he said, either a clear or a save, and that makes all the difference. So that was kind of what he pointed to as far as what went wrong tonight. But I think it's kind of all stuff that we could really see watching this game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, face-off struggles again. It's just all stuff. As Greg is pointing out here in the comments, maybe I'm in the minority, but it's simply a loss. Effort was there, but Jones let in a few soft goals. We also left 3 goals out there by missing wide open nets. Playing desperate teams is tough. I do think Vancouver, they knew what they needed to do as a winless team in this one, to go out there, get a couple fights going, try to sucker the Kraken into creating good situations for themselves, take advantage of power play opportunities when you get them. I think the Kraken did a much better job of staying disciplined in this one, right? Like the fact that we're only talking about those 2 is a positive, but the things that the Kraken need to work on, playing better in their own zone. The PK, I mean, the effort level just kind of wasn't there on this PK. Like there wasn't that kind of, earnestness there to clearing those pucks. And then the faceoffs. And it's the bottom 6 that's killing us in the faceoffs. We talked about that while we were waiting for you, RJ. Yanni Gord, 33% tonight in the faceoff dot, and Morgan Geekie, 25%, which is substantially better than his 11% last game. But like, that's what's killing you.
And that's odd to me because that's the one thing I see them consistently working on, almost like the most after practice is over. After every single practice or morning skate, there's always that group of centers always working on faceoffs. I can't think of a morning skate or practice where I didn't see it. So it's something they're putting time and effort into. I don't know really what more kind of goes into that or what they need to be doing. I mean, they're practicing it, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe have Jared McCann start taking faceoffs for the third line. He was 50% tonight. It's an option you have, I guess. Ty, Yanni has to have something going on. I have no idea what it is, but he doesn't look like himself. If I see him out in Seattle, he's getting a massive hug and a rally speech. Yeah, I mean, Yanni's just struggling to get going kind of everywhere, as we just talked about with the faceoffs.
Yeah, he is. I think we saw it again tonight. I mean, it's tough because you just don't know. I mean, he missed a game a couple games ago for personal reasons, and you never know what that is. It could be something that could very well still be weighing on his mind. I mean, you just don't know. And hopefully he's able to play better or whatever it is solved. But I don't know what more to say on that since we, given the information we have.
Right, exactly. So some talk here about the Nets coming off tonight and the struggles that the Ice Crew kind of had with that one. Need some alien tape on the net by Saturday from Airs 01 there.
Well, Dylan, I have a question for you on that. On the broadcast, did they show before was it the third period starting? Where they were working on that. They had the refs out there, and I don't think the Ice Crew was really doing much, but they had the refs out there trying to fix it for a while before the third period started. Did they show that?
They kind of came back to it a little bit once the players were kind of already out there, like Demko was kind of already down there. But yeah, I mean, it was clearly like an issue. Like,
It was like a solid 5 minutes or so. It was a long time. You could tell something was wrong there. And then I don't know if you saw, I retweeted it. Mike McKenna, former NHL goalie, his take on it. He said that there was some ice clogging that, and it wouldn't, the peg wouldn't go fully in. And so he's like, it's going to happen again. The net's going to be knocked off again. And like, they needed to get the ice crew in to actually like drill and deal with it. I don't know a ton about that stuff, but I would kind of defer to the former NHL goalie a little bit.
Right. Well, that's interesting because I was just going to say we saw in the first period when it first happened, the ice crew was out there with the drill and they were drilling it out. So I wonder almost if the hole was made just slightly too big. So water was seeping down in there and then clogging it up and kind of forcing things out. I don't know how that
that's
all
the kind of
works.
thing I'd love to know. Like, again, if I was Canucks media, I'd be asking Demko about that for sure. Just like what's going on.
Yeah,
but I didn't think anyone on the Kraken would know.
Right. On a positive note, back-to-back big rig goals. You love to see it. Hashtag big rig for Norris. It's from George. I don't know. I've already mentioned his defensive struggles so far, so I don't know that a Norris trophy's in the cards. But yes, it took him 2 games to surpass his goal total of last year or match.
Come on, Dylan. You know all it takes is points. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all they care about, huh?
But it was funny talking to him this morning because we got him this morning, and we were asking him about that goal, and he's like, "Yeah, it's really nice to get the monkey off your back." And he's like, "Look, I'm not an offensive threat by any means." He was kind of funny about it, but it felt real good to snipe one there.
You are when you're playing Thatcher Demko, the leakiest goalie around.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of the questions to the players afterward were like, how much of this was, you guys, having different errors, and how much of it was Thatcher Demko just stealing this game. There were a lot of those type of questions to the players. So take that for what it's worth.
I don't know either. I think it's just like Greg was saying earlier. It's just a loss. Like these games just kind of happen. Yeah. Vancouver got some really good bounces. You know what I mean? You get a tip-in goal, you get a batted out of the air goal. Like they just happen sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
No teams was going to go, lose all 82 games, right? Like at some point, Vancouver was just going to get lucky and win one. It just happened to be tonight. Hockey Fork. Will the Kraken win against the Canucks with Wright in the lineup? The world may never know. That echoes sentiments of Striatic earlier on the show, RJ. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, given how this one started, I could see it almost. I think someone mentioned this in our Discord, and it made sense to me. Sorry, I don't remember exactly who it was, but saying that this might be one of those games you'd want to protect Shane Wright from, just given the 2 fights in the first 4 minutes and how the message the Canucks wanted to send. And I feel like maybe they would have tried to send that message against someone like him. So maybe there's that element to it. I mean, also, I just wouldn't want to change the lineup after the Sabres game, but still. Maybe we'll know next game against Vancouver.
I was going to say, it almost feels like at this point, the lineup can't ever like stay the same. Like you need a constant, I don't like that because that goes against everything we were talking about last year. But now it's just like, the lineup gets stale one game after they're all playing together. It's kind of
I know,
weird.
And that's something we talk like this team can't string together 2 wins in a row yet.
No. Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, we've been talking about it too here.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'm sure.
Vancouver did a fantastic job causing delays when we had things rolling. Feel a bit outcoached there. Vancouver's game plan kept us off for a good portion of the game. And then also from Ty here at the end, do you think Decord gets the start now? That's an interesting question coming off of this one with Martin Jones. But the problem is you're going to face the best offense in hockey in your next game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and it was rough last time here. I remember the game against Pittsburgh here last season. It was Grubauer who started, but the Penguins put up 3 goals, I think, in like the first 5 minutes or so, and Grubauer was pulled immediately. It was a tough game for him, and it's would be another really tough spot to throw Joey Decord in. So I'm not sure whether we'll see that or not. But again, Hackstall did hint, a save would have helped on that second, power play goal for the Canucks. So maybe that's a little hint at who will get in net. I don't know. Going into this game, I thought for sure Jones would start, but now I'm not 100%. I still think he's most likely to start, though.
I don't know, man. 14 saves on 18 shots is not good. Like,
no,
I don't care what the
not.
situation
is. And the second Mikheyev goal, the one right along the ice, that one gave me Sharks flashbacks.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean there.
Yeah.
Medeiros, we're so nice to struggling teams. At least we didn't lose our first 7 games. See, there's more bright side there.
Yeah, it could be worse. Oh, I
Uh,
saw there was a great comment on, I think it was one of Sound of Hockey's tweets, but it's like, this, this is an act of charity. Can we write it off on our taxes?
yes, exactly. Joshua, why did this loss hurt so much more than the others? Because we lost to the winless team that's also our regional rival. It's tough. No way around that. Let's see. Scrolling down a little bit. Where do you rate Sheldon Keefe as a coach? If Toronto let him go, would he be an upgrade?
Um, I no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't know what else to say. No, let's not do that.
All right. Well, I was just gonna say I've been on the record on our podcast and stuff. I don't necessarily think Sheldon Keefe's a good coach, like a great coach or anything special. So
Yeah.
I've already been on the record with that. I feel very comfortable restating that. Lindsay, Chicago game was way worse in my opinion. I saw way more effort out of the boys tonight, and aside of a few silly defensive lapses, they played a solid game. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't the disastrous game that Chicago was. It had a different feeling. I think you pretty much covered. It's just a loss. And the Chicago game felt like a lot more than just a loss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think this is a better effort.
From Patrick, we get the obligatory allergic to 500 comment. Pre-game heavily featured Alexiak talking about how great it is to have consistent D partner in Schultz. Rebecca let me know because I was talking about got to break up that pairing. Like they're just not.
Okay. I'm glad they used his answer from the question I asked. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But I don't know, man. It's rough to watch.
I know. I'm with you. But Dylan, they played together in Pittsburgh. You got to send them out there one more time just to beat the Penguins. Double revenge game.
All right, sure. Let's see. Let's see. Where might we find the solution to our goaltending as a franchise? Grubauer, Drieger, Decor, now Jones, all having below average save percentage. Is it the staff? I don't think it's the staff, and I think anything for this year, it's a little early to read into it.
Yeah, I think you said it. It's too early this year, and I certainly don't think. Again, they're on their second goalie coach in 2 years, and I do think Steve Briere is doing a great job. Yeah. Like I know there's been the goalie woes, but just the fundamentals look a lot better, and you're feeling like the goaltending's not costing this team games. It's certainly not the first thing you look at versus last season, especially early. You're like, yeah, the goaltending is the number one thing costing this team games right now on certain nights, or you could at least make that argument. I don't think you can really do that this year.
No, the defenses looked substantially worse. And I feel like, last year it's hard. Drieger in and out with injuries all year long, so it's tough to get a good read on him. This year, Grubauer kind of waiting to see how he works with the new goaltending coach, knew everything. And of course, he gets hurt right away, and so we don't know. And we haven't seen Decor yet this season either. So I think it's just too early to come to any conclusions there. Let's see. How about that highlight reel pass from Schwartz? Dude is so under the radar, not for long if he keeps racking up the points. That's from George. I know. I mean, he just finds a way of getting it going. And then, even the goal at the end from him was like a really nice play.
Yeah, grabbing the puck out of the air, dropping it right down and putting it down. I had a great angle of that too from where I was. Just a really great skill play. That is so hard to do, and all together in one motion. But I mean, he made it happen.
Yeah, Chris asking, outside of one or two moments, what is Alexiak actually bringing? I think he needs to get traded. Maybe I'm wrong, but what is he actually doing? Well, he's scoring goals now. That's a big thing. He does have positives defensively. Like he's using these last couple games, he's using his stick more. He's utilizing the fact that he has long reach. He's got that long stick. He can really effectively shut down a nice big portion of the defensive zone if he's focused on using his stick. I think Adam Larson, I've highlighted him in the past, his use of the stick in the defensive zone. I think he's probably been talking with Alexiak some based on what we know from exit interviews last season. We know Adam Larson likes to do all that stuff behind the scenes. So I do think that Alexiak is getting better. I just don't know that there's a lot of synergy with Schultz is the problem. They always seem to be on the wrong page from each other so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't affect the other pairs, I'd like to kind of see something else. The problem is derails everything. And I think we actually have seen some solid play from the other two pairs
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Got some studs here. So Sergeant Pickles gave us studs earlier. We got Nathan giving studs here. Maddie, the Ice Crew, Schwartzy with the hand to stick goal. Where are you going with the studs today, RJ?
Jaden Schwartz for sure I wanted to include.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean one stud that I'm thinking of, I'm sorry if anyone here is gonna give me a hard time or disagree about this. Bruce Boudreau, I'm sorry, the guy is an absolute beauty. I have to tell this story. So I stayed for his presser afterward, as I mentioned. And like mid-answer, he's just says to the guy, sorry, I have to sneeze. And he's just like, and he kind of looks up into the light to like help him sneeze, and he sneezes, and then he gets back to answering the guy's question. I mean, just like, come on, what a guy. I'm sorry. And there was a giant sign like we believe in Bruce behind the bench, and I could see him looking at it. So I'm sorry. That's enough for the Canucks stars. But Jaden Schwartz had I should have saved that for the end of the beginning. But yeah, Jaden Schwartz had a really good game. Again, the offense still, you put up 4 goals, like Matty Beniers, another star. Just that whole line was going. I think there were a lot of stars offensively. It's just the same issues in special teams.
Exactly. And that's the kind of stuff you're afforded, RJ, when you win 600 games. So, that was win 600 for Bruce behind the bench. So there is that. Leafs lost to the Sharks, RJ, in OT. So they're
what do you want me to say about that?
Well, again, like this is what I'm talking about with Sheldon Keefe. Like, there we go.
What I will say about that, Logan Couture is amazing. He had a hat trick. He's an awesome player. I'll say that.
There we go. Let's see. Need more likes. Thank you, everybody, for reminding people to do that for us. Thoughts: 1, fights were stupid. 2, Larson was a complete dud. 3, healthy Schwartz is a gamer. All right, so the fights being stupid. I've talked about this before. I think the Larson.
I want to know your opinion on this.
Right.
Yeah.
The Larson one was totally fine because that's like he makes a big hit. Tanner Pearson stands up for his teammate. Larson says, "Okay, yes, that's hockey." Right? That whole situation just read as hockey to me. I'm fine with it. I don't understand if I miss something, the broadcast missed something, but why does Carson Soucy just agree after being just straight up asked by JT Miller to a fight when Larson's already in the box?
Right, that one I couldn't figure out. And I don't know what really started it too. Maybe you got a better angle on the broadcast. We didn't see a good replay, but I don't know what started that.
No, the broadcast didn't show anything either. Like they showed it start, and it was literally like JT Miller just asking him.
Like as an isolated incident, like I guess you take that trade, like you get to take JT Miller off the ice. But still, like in that situation, and then I think Vince Dunn, they were trying to fight Vince Dunn. He thought better of it, knowing that there were already 2 defensemen in the box.
Right.
But again, it was just one of those on the Larson one, and this is why I was curious for your opinion on that. And I do feel like it's just hockey, but you kind of knew when it was a clean hit that Larson made, right? Clean hit. And when that's the case, you have another player coming after you. I feel like you have the opportunity to be like basically no, or if you want to fight me, you're going to take an instigator. And that's what do you think of that?
I mean, I understand that. But you run the risk of also like Vancouver getting worse. Like if you don't fight them when they want to fight, then they're going to come out.
They're going to try and take it out on other ways.
Yeah, they're going to start slashing, you to pieces. They're going to be all up in your hands. Like they were just going to get dirty. Like if you don't do that. So like I said, I feel like the Larson one, it was all appropriate. That's hockey. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way things go. And I think he read that situation right of I think it was a good call to take that fight and not let things go, because especially the fact that it was coming off of a big hit, even if it's a legal hit, just the fact that it's coming off a big hit, if you don't fight in that situation, right, even in the best of times, it's going to spiral into something you don't want.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a fair point. I mean, as it was, I wasn't sure why they I don't know how often they'll give the guy, because basically Pearson made a beeline for him and started hassling him, why they didn't give him the extra 2 even as it is, but oh well.
Because, like I said, it just felt like old school hockey at first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure to the refs, it just felt like that. Yeah, okay,
Well,
it's
that's one
just
thing that bugs me though, is when you have a clean hit. Yeah, it's a hard hit, but it was a clean hit. No one was hurt, and then you have a guy just make a beeline for the guy who made that hit. That's one of those things that still bugs me.
yeah. Let's see. The healthy shorts thing we agree on. Larson being a complete dud. I definitely don't agree with that on this one. He had, just like with the Ducks game when I made that YouTube short about like all the little plays that he does and the way he utilizes his stick to shut down offensive opportunities. He had two more of those tonight where he just completely shut down Vancouver after they entered the zone completely, forced him out to the perimeter, and the Kraken were able to clear it away just from being completely solid in his positioning. They kept trying to get around him, and he was just there with his stick, not letting him do anything. So I don't know. I didn't notice any issues from Larson, like on one of the goals or anything.
Yeah, I thought he had a fine game.
I'd call him out if I did. I promise, Cody. I've done it in the past. I call out everyone when I see it. I just didn't see it tonight. Exciting energy at CPA. I've never felt where is it? Never felt like we were out of this one. That's from Paul. Good to hear as always. Got a super chat. Got to go down for that one. Kitty B Kraken. Thank you so much, Kitty B Kraken. Super chat for Kraken luck and a Queen Anne Beer Hall beer or pretzel for RJ on his way home. Yeah, you could use that after this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I already talked about it. Was it on the podcast? No, it was out a post game about the nice comforting pretzel after a loss. I could sure use one tonight with some extra cheese sauce. I think it warrants it.
Let's see, from when you joined, Ty. RJ's face says it all. I agree, RJ. I agree. Dylan JBC Omega, Kraken outshot Vancouver but couldn't make it count. That's another thing that's starting to get a little bit frustrating, RJ. Is like in this one, I mean, you almost outshoot them 2-1.
Well, here's the thing though. Yes, they were out shooting them. It didn't feel like it to me, and I was kind of backed up by like I checked on Money Puck. Like the Canucks had more expected goals. I felt like they had the shot quality, especially kind of after the first period. So yeah, they had a lot of shots on goal, but I think there are a lot of low quality ones.
Okay, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, I trust both of you. I don't know that I'd feel the same way entirely. I felt like it was.
I mean, it was about even, but Vancouver did have a slight edge. Like it wasn't 36-18 or something. Yeah. It didn't feel like they had double the shot quality.
Yeah. Do you think this was more on the PK/defense or Martin Jones? Seattle obviously dominated on shot attempts. That's from Nathan.
I think it was more on the PK and particularly the PK. Really, I mean, basically you can't go 0 for 2 on the PK to start a game. You're just not going to win many games when you do that. When you have that bad of a PK night, you just need to get some kills. And I don't think on those it was really Jones. Like you need to get clears. You need to box out guys in front of the net. It's the simpler things.
Yeah, I agree. I put this more on the PK and defense than Jones as well. Sarah, we need to stop playing sabotage at the start of games. Is that what's been going on?
It has. I hadn't really thought of it until.
That's terrible. What are we doing, everybody?
I'll talk to the arena DJ there.
Oh man, yeah, talk about speaking it into existence. I talked a little bit about that at the jump of this one, RJ, talking about everybody was like, oh, we can't lose this game. But like by giving that, you give the universe energy to make it happen. If you're playing sabotage right before you try to go play a hockey game, that's rough. Let's see. Sergeant Pickles, am I the only one who thinks we haven't had a goalie steal us a game in a very, very long time? I added an extra very for myself there.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. It's a good point. Someone up here had the question of it's not here anymore, but it was basically here it is. Z Butler. When do you think we see Fleury?
When do we think
Cale Fleury?
Yeah, no, I know. I think it'll take an injury. I really do. I think it'll take an injury. I don't think he comes into this lineup if everyone's healthy. I think there's quite a distance between him and the top 6 in the coaching staff's mind.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Dylan JBC Omega pointing out we got to wait till almost Christmas to get another shot at Vancouver again. That's a long wait, unfortunately. Let's see. Could he be cracking a positive? Was that gutsy goal after the empty net? Came very close to tying it up and getting to overtime. At least they didn't give up. Hard to win any game with 5 goals against. Agreed. You can't be counted on to score 6 at every time. That's just, it's not the 80s anymore. But you know, that is the thing with this team. No matter, you know, what kind of game they're coming off of previously, the effort level for this team has been very consistent this year.
Yeah, always. I mean, they never give up. I mean, I wasn't surprised to see that goal at the end. I didn't make the final score graphic once the Canucks hit the empty netter. I figured the Kraken might still score another one. There was enough time. And sure enough, they did. I mean, you know that push is always coming.
Yes.
It's just getting into position where it's not too little too late.
Exactly. Jordan Eberle has done just about nothing this season, says Cody. I don't know that I entirely agree with that. I feel like some of it's just been bad luck.
Right, he got a lot of good chances. I mean, we've been talking about, you know, how much offense he's been generating, and yeah, hasn't been able to convert on it yet. But yeah, he's a streaky player. He did get an assist, got a 600th career point today. But yeah, overall, you'd want to see him convert more. But I think the underlying play is there, and eventually we'll see it.
Yeah, and kind of same thing from Bjorkstrand right now. I feel like
Yeah.
Bjorkstrand's around plays a lot, and it's just not, you know, turning into anything. Coop, sorry I'm late. Can we talk about how badly that went for Carson Kuhlman? Couple rough turnovers for Kuhlman in this one.
Yeah, a tough game for him. Yeah, just some bad decisions with the puck. And for a guy who I think, you know, is still kind of fighting for that permanent roster spot, I mean, that could be tough for him.
Yeah, Ty saying you should ask Darren about the goalie stuff when it comes to the net and everything.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the goalie up there in the press bridge. Yeah, I should have asked him about it.
Yep. Striatic pointing out they played lump, and I was singing along on my couch at home. Striatic. Lindsay, they need a shop vac to suck up the ice dust that got lodged in the net peg hole.
I guess so. Yeah, and they were playing lump. Actually, I think it was like right before that goal they scored with the goalie pulled. And I was thinking, man, if this was just that grunge version of the song, you know, yep. She's grunge, it would have worked.
Yep. Patrick pointing out JT Miller just got listed day to day. That looked really bad. Like, I don't know if you saw it up there.
I had a very good view of it, yeah, and with my Zoom camera, because I thought he was going to get right back up and everyone was going to congratulate him, so I started just recording the video because I thought it'd be a cool video, and he stayed down, and it was not good. He was down for a while, yeah, and he was putting no weight on it as he was going off to the bench.
Yeah, no, he looked like in a lot of pain, and there's not a lot of padding where he took that hit, the kind of front of your ankle there.
But I mean, huge block. I mean, as just a hockey fan, you got to respect that.
Yeah. Striatic, Demko stealing a game with an 889 save percentage. Sigh. Yeah, I mean, it's true. On the other end, you had 778, so it's, you know, wasn't a great night for young goaltenders to be watching if they wanted to pick up some tips and tricks. Let's put it that way. Oh man. Let's see. Do you think? I mean, where do you feel like with Shane Wright? Do you think we get to see him next game?
I think so. Yeah, I think we will. I mean, given it's a loss, I think you got to change up the lineup a little bit. I think that I don't know where the pressure is necessarily from, but I feel like there's some pressure, you know, on Hackstall to get him into a game. Or, you know, again, I can't imagine the plan. The plan involves sitting him all 3 of these games. So I think, well, yeah, unless you're winning and you just can't change the lineup. So yeah, I think you will see him on Saturday.
Yeah. Are you guys going to do any kind of Calder watch? Trying to think of an appropriate cadence for something like that. It's so hard not to be in on this right now. Kid is special. What do you think, RJ?
Yeah, I think we should do some kind of, I mean, like, we'll have to figure out how to like work it in, but yeah, we got to do more around the Matty for Calder campaign.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a real lack of stuff nationally said about him. Like you see it everywhere the team goes, like the opposing, like, you know, media group or the opposing coaching staff, all that stuff. Like everybody's able to recognize it instantly. Like that happened when I was at the LA game. All the LA media people were just like one shift in, they were all just like, wow, Matty's for real. Like this dude's really good. Like he's really special. And we're all just like, yeah. You know?
It's the same thing we saw those first practices in that first game. But yeah, they just need to see him.
Yeah, and so need to just get him out there, kind of get on that early because yeah, playing on the West Coast, you're starting well behind the 8 ball for
Yeah.
that. Um, let's see. If you need the opportunity and if you get the opportunity and you need a laugh, you should watch tonight's Oilers Hawk game. 17 penalties called.
Wow.
SJ with the nice recommendation there. Yeah,
And
that
high
sounds
scoring, like I
rough.
said it would be on the regular podcast earlier today.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, it's got just a couple minutes here left. I'll try to rush through these last little bit of comments. Um, let's see. Susie was Lucy in this game. Hard to watch. I like that a little bit. I was griping about it on the Discord. Larson standing straight up during that goal when you have guys like Tanev being willing to give up the body. That's from Cody. Which goal? That's the one thing. I'll check on the Discord, and I guess I'll get
Yeah.
back to you about that one. Ty, thanking you, RJ, for the reverse retro picks. Can't wait. I hate pre-orders. Won't go to the layer Saturday because of this. Yeah, those look nice, and yes, totally different color than
Right?
kind of what was put out by the NHL and everybody, the team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I forget. Maybe it was last post game where I mentioned that I had seen it in person, and I liked the way the color looked in person. I thought it looked really good. I'm glad they put out some kind of show models at the lair to take a look at. So if you're curious about it, go to the lair and see how it looks in person.
Yeah. Let's see where we're going here. Just here at the ends. Is Shane Wright hurt? No, not hurt. Just been scratched. Just the way it is. And Sergeant Pickles, the Discord link, it should be in the description if you're on YouTube. It should be in the description for this, and it should work. Let me know if it stopped working again, and we'll get on fixing that. Otherwise, it's included in all of our videos. So like you could just go to like the PK video.
Yeah, pick out any video, it'll be there.
It should be linked there. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this one. RJ, do you have any like kind of closing thoughts or remarks?
I don't know. I mean, I should have saved the Boudreaux sneeze story for right now. That would have been perfect. No, I mean, it's a busy week. I think it's good for the Kraken that they're right back at it on Saturday. Have a chance for redemption and just right some of the wrongs from this one. They've been good about that this season, at least.
Mm-hmm.
When they've had a game that didn't go as planned, they've generally had a good bounce back the next game. So hopefully we see that on Saturday. Be nice to have a fun post-game dance party on that one.
Yeah, it would. I was going to say, we haven't been able to string together wins, but it's not like we're stringing together losses either. So that's pretty good as well. Right? You know what I mean? Like that's better than last year.
Life of a 500 team.
Well, yeah, there we go. It's just what we wished for, everybody. They are better than last year. Devin, I hope Shane Wright plays when they play Montreal. Has to. No way they don't do that. No way. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for this one. It was, rough result, not what we wanted, but things are what they are. Get right back at it against Pittsburgh on Saturday. That would be a huge win if we could do it.
Yeah, it would. It'd be another impressive one.
Yeah, Penguins, they're scoring a lot, but their defense isn't anything special right now. So it should be a fun game. Should be another fun back and forth one too. Again, these are more entertaining games than we got last year. Got to give the Kraken that.
For sure. I mean, even when they lose, it's entertaining losses, lots of goals, and I mean, there's something to be said for that.
Exactly. All right. Have a good night, everybody, or a good day, depending on where you are in the world joining us. And we'll catch you all next time. Thanks one more time to Queen Anne Beer Hall down there somewhere.
You're pointing at me, but okay. Oh wait, no, there it is. Yeah,
it's right below you. Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody. See you all next time.